Most people think growth comes from doing more, but in my experience, scale comes from deciding better. Now, this week in London is about governance, structure, and decision-making at the top. And that's stuff that doesn't show up on Instagram, but it determines whether companies will last.
Every time the business levels up, the standard I hold myself to has to lift first. As the organisation grows, the consequences of decisions compound. Decisions affect more people, more capital, longer time horizons. What worked when things were smaller, instinct, speed, and being across everything, it doesn't always serve you at scale. And if you don't evolve the way you think, the business eventually exposes that. So for me, this week isn't about learning theory, it's about sharpening judgment, governance, structure, how decisions are made when you're not in the room, and whether the business can stand on its own without constant intervention. Now, I've learned that real leadership at this level isn't about being everywhere, it's about creating clarity, discipline, and standards that hold even when pressure rises. Now, this week is about slowing down enough to think properly so the calls I make going forward are cleaner, calmer, and better aligned with where the business is actually heading.
So yesterday's session was confronting in a useful way. It wasn't about theory, it was about what actually breaks when pressure hits. And one of the strongest themes was this: most crises don't start as crises, they start as small issues sitting outside strategy, poorly communicated, or assumed to be someone else's problem. So we looked at examples where entire regions or operations weren't actually part of the formal strategy, but still carried real risk. And the failure wasn't execution. So the real failure was communication, right? Now, boards often assume that key stakeholders are aligned, and a moment arrives where it becomes obvious they aren't. Now, another major takeaway for me was consolidation. If you don't deliberately consolidate, cost structures drift, data fragments, and service quality eventually suffers. What stood out to me was how careful language matters, being transparent without being reactive, calm without being dismissive. Good governance doesn't eliminate risk. It creates the conditions where issues surface early, decisions are made clearly, and trust is preserved, even under pressure. That's been the real value of this week so far. Not learning more, but thinking better about how businesses are actually governed once they reach scale. Okay, so we just boarded the plane back from London to Dubai. I've had a fantastic week at the Institute of Directors. What we really looked at throughout the week was strategy, governance, and financial systems. So how are we using those three triggers to strengthen the longevity of those businesses?